What is an adult problem you were not prepared for? Realizing that not even your parents have all the answers, and finally understanding that they were just figuring it out as they went, just like we are. Not having an all-knowing figure to give you the answers to all your problems is the pits, and I hate it. Just want to add that I agree, figuring stuff out for yourself is rewarding and fun, but some things you really don't want to figure out for yourself, or can't figure out, and for those things it's nice to have someone to point you in the right direction. Endless, teeny tiny implications of adult freedom. You have your own medical insurance plan now. You need to pick a primary care physician. Okay, who should I pick? Up to you. But where do I start? How do I know which doctor to choose? Up to you. How do other people find one? They just pick the one they like. I don't know any of these doctors. I felt like this when I got hired and had to choose withholding for taxes and what health insurance to choose. No freaking guidance whatsoever. Losing people. Loved ones passing away is the hardest. Then there's the nasty breakdown of personal relationships, family relationships, and friendships. Then there's the sad drifting apart that happens when life takes you on a different path to a person you were once really close to. Being able to not cook the same meal every day while balancing hundreds of other tasks. I will always admire my mom for how she was able to cook, have a clean house, work 43 hours, and help her children do homework, all while taking time to work out at the end of every day. I can mention other common problems like money management and common tasks that I haven't mastered, but what really hit me like a train was the actual transition of adulthood. I'm talking about having to make my own appointments and having to keep tabs on myself instead of handing every single document to my mom. I realized how unorganized I was when I found my birth certificate in the same drawer where I have junk receipts. Not being able to sleep due to stress. Yet here I lay, exhausted but wide awake. When I was younger, I could sleep anytime, anywhere. Pro tip, if you don't fall asleep within 30 minutes, get out of bed. Otherwise, you'll associate your bed with lying awake. Furthermore, you could actually do something. You're gonna be tired tomorrow anyway, so why not do the dishes, clean the toilet, or organize your living room? Just any small task for 15 to 30 minutes. You'll feel good because you did it, your bed cools down, so when you get in, you have something to be proud of, and your bed is cool. This has helped me many, many times. I've also walked a lot in the middle of the night. Lying awake sucks big time, especially because of stress, but making your home a better place by cleaning and organizing helps a lot. Avoid screens. Not too long ago, I was waking up at 2 a.m. and just laying there for 2 hours, tossing and turning, thinking about all the world's problems. So I decided to outsmart my own brain. When that happened, I vowed to get out of bed and go run, which I know from experience I hate doing. So my brain learned that if I was going to wake up at 2, it was going to have to go running. And eventually, not wanting to do that, I quit waking up at 2 a.m. Having a presentable place and debating myself on why it matters. It always frustrated me when my parents had a guest over and we had to deep clean the whole house. Like, if it's my close friend of 8 years visiting, why do I care what they care about my cleanliness? And yet, every time people are over, I find myself cleaning the apartment up for some reason. First thing you say is, excuse the mess. Back hurting just from sleeping wrong, and from sitting wrong, and from doing housework and yard work, and from picking up dogs or kids or whatever life requires. Never reach for anything in the back seat, especially if it is just a little bit further. How many adults I actually dislike? When I was younger, I thought my parents liked all our neighbors, all my teachers, all my coaches, etc. I've since found out that they thought most people were morons, kind of like I do. Adults never actually growing up. Yeah, this. I used to look at 30-year-olds and be like, they got it figured out. Now I am 30, I feel as useless as I did when I was 17. At 17, I was making new friends, was practicing music to get my punk rock band somewhere, was passionate about science and physics and everything space-related, was keen on getting into a theoretical physics degree. Now at 30, I'm totally burned out. I have no friends, and neither do I know how to make any friends. I live day to day with no passion or ambition. I'm just slowly waiting for time to tick past, and I'm just doing my time here. Every day that I get through without any major incident is a good day for me. How quickly fruits and vegetables actually go bad when you buy them yourself. And you buy them thinking you're going to eat them because they're good for you, and you know that because you're an adult, but there's always something else to eat and no one is making you eat your vegetables. Preparing for retirement. Of course, everyone knows they will stop working at some point, but now that I'm 40, it feels like I really need to get it together. Am I going to continue bad habits that negatively impact my health, or will I finally make changes to be healthier later? My new favorite worry, will I really have enough money to retire and live comfortably enough to have a good quality of life? 10 years ago, this all seemed so far away. Now it feels like I'm speeding to the next phase of my life. how expensive living is. I worked all through high school, but my only bill was the gas I put in my car. 30 hours a week on minimum wage goes a long way on shopping sprees and nail salons when you don't have any other expenses. I developed nasty spending habits, not the value of a hard-earned dollar my parents were hoping for. I'm not in crippling debt or anything, but sometimes having to spend money on groceries or utilities depresses me more than it rationally should. When you're in high school, having a few $100s makes you feel loaded. You can buy whatever game you want and do whatever with friends, but as an adult, hundreds of dollars is just enough to buy groceries and gas. Getting the spending under control has easily been one of the hardest things I've done after buying what I want with no problem for over 4 years. It's the worst. The constant obsessive feeling that I'm fast running out of time to have an enjoyable life, even though I'm only in my 20s. I'm 40, that feeling is real, and you should listen to it. Do it now, you might not get the chance later. My great-grandmother said that she and my great-grandfather promised they would always take a cruise around the world after they retired. It never happened because life got in the way, but they could have done it when they were younger. Don't ruin yourself financially, but if you can do that crazy thing you always wanted to do, go do it. Make it happen. Edit, let me be clear. Don't run off and put yourself in a bad situation. But if you can stretch yourself and spend a year overseas or build that car or live in a place, do it. Don't put yourself in $100,000 of debt you can't afford to have a good time. That's the opposite of what everyone else says. So much advice about not making rash decisions in your 20s, focusing on your career and settling down. There's a balance, but life is so long. I want to do that in my 30s. Having others rely on you as an emotional ballast. I can barely stay sane myself, let alone carry the weight of someone else's sanity. When I was young, death seemed very romantic. The idea of everyone being so sad about you being gone and regretting every wrong against you. Now I have way too many responsibilities to die. I have seen how loss really affects the people I love and would never want to subject them to that. In my mind, my mama should be about 40. She has always seemed to be so strong, but sometimes I want to fall apart when I see her take several attempts to stand up or make excuses about driving on the interstate. She will be 70 soon, but to me, she is still young. I don't know what I'll ever do without her. I lost my mom 8 weeks ago. It's hard living without a parent. She was only 60, but I always thought of her as 42. She died before I had the chance to talk with her one last time. It was very unexpected. Give your mama a hug and tell her you'll drive her down the interstate to get her where she needs to go. My job is destroying my mental health, but I need a job so I can pay my bills. If I reduce my hours for better work-life balance, I lose my insurance during a global pandemic. This one right in the feels. My doctor's been telling me for about a year and a half that I should really be on disability because of my mental health, but I can't afford to wait for 2 years through the inevitable denial, reapply phase. But I also can't afford my income being cut by 75%. So I'll just be over here trying to keep my head above water when I really don't know how to swim. The snowball effect of poverty. Every major bill or unexpected emergency, $500 plus, takes you back 6 months to a year. It feels like you're on an escalator made of mud. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments section below the adult problem that you weren't prepared for.